Every once in a while, you come across a body of work that's, well, it's more than just code or a bunch of blog posts. It's like finding a puzzle box. Today, we're looking at a creator whose work is just this incredible, sprawling map of contradictions. It's part technical manifesto and part raw, completely unfiltered diary. It's the story of a mind that just seems to be wired differently.
And you find little gems like this scattered everywhere. This isn't just code, it's practically a confession. This one line, it's just buried in a post about trying to get a local AI to work, but it sets the stage so perfectly. It's chaotic, it's self-deprecating, and it lets you know right away there's a much deeper, more turbulent story running just beneath the surface.
And this is what's so fascinating. You see this massive split in personality in the writing. On one hand, you've got the vibe coder who's just frantically copy-pasting errors and flat out admitting, I have no clue what I am doing. But then, on the other hand, you have the autonomous architect, writing with this chilling precision about self-correcting systems and slow, deliberate reasoning. So the question is, how on earth can these two voices be coming from the same person?
And that right there is the central question we're going to explore. To really understand the work, both the brilliant, disciplined architecture and the manic, chaotic improvisation, you have to understand the life. Because the answer, it's not hidden in the code comments. It was forged in a story of profound loss, incredible resilience, and ultimately, rebirth.
So to get to the bottom of this, we have to go back. This isn't just a string of bad luck. It's the crucible. This is the fire where the raw materials of his entire philosophy were forged. Everything that comes later, the code, the ideas about AI, the strange doctrines, it all starts right here, in the chaos.
The timeline from this period it's just staggering. It all kicks off with a severe traumatic brain injury in 2016. That event spirals into years spent homeless, which he calls his immersive study in human survival. And then the story hits absolute rock bottom on, of all days, Valentine's Day 2023, when he witnesses his friend's murder and barely escapes with his own life. At this point, he has been stripped of everything.
And this, right here, in his own words, this is the turning point. He's at the absolute bottom, with nothing, I mean literally nothing to his name, except a set of colored pencils his murdered friend had given him. But he finds the one thing that nobody could take away: discipline. And this isn't just a recovery story. It's the exact moment that raw, chaotic energy of survival starts to crystallize into a focused, deliberate methodology. So from that absolute 0 point, the rebirth begins. And this isn't some overnight miracle. It's a methodical, almost algorithmic reconstruction of a life. And the building blocks he uses, they're the cheapest, most accessible pieces of technology he can get his hands on.
Just look at this progression. It's a masterclass in bootstrapping from nothing. He sells some art, buys a $50 track phone. He uses the phone to earn survey money, which buys a Chromebook. The Chromebook lets him get back into data work, which leads to a used MacBook and a real $5,000 contract. Every single step leverages one small piece of tech into the next bigger opportunity. It's incredibly deliberate. So here's the crucial takeaway from all this. His lived experience directly shaped his entire technical philosophy. This deep-seated belief in cheap, local, cell phone tech, it wasn't just a preference, it was a survival strategy. This intense focus on sovereignty and control that you see in all his later work, it was born right here, from having absolutely nothing but what you could hold in your own hands and run yourself. Okay, so now we get to what is really the heart of his work. This is where the personal trauma and the technical skill completely merge. We're talking about the project to digitally resurrect his friend Chris. It's an act of defiance against a system that he felt had just thrown his friend away. Now, to really get what he's trying to do, we need to wrap our heads around this one term, simulacra. A simulacrum is a copy, an imitation that doesn't have the substance of the original. And the author really wrestles with this idea. Is he creating a true echo of his friend, or is it just a hollow imitation? This philosophical tension is what makes the whole project so powerful. He calls it the Chris Graff Project, and its purpose is just so profound. This is not about building a chatbot for fun, not by a long shot. This is an act of pure resistance. It's using the most advanced technology he can to make sure that a voice, a personality, a human being, isn't just erased by tragedy and forgotten by the world. And the goal here, it's not just to mimic how he talked, right? It's way deeper than that. The whole point is to capture his friend's essence, his unique worldview, his dark sense of humor, his specific way of looking at the world. The simulacrum becomes a kind of living memorial, a continuation of a consciousness. So this incredibly personal, deeply emotional project, it leads directly to his big technical breakthrough. Think about it. He's trying to build a digital ghost, and in doing that, he comes face to face with the central problem of AI development, the ghost in the machine. How do you make an AI truly understand the world it's in?
So what's the thread here? What connects all these pieces? The frantic coder, the meticulous survivor, the grieving friend building a digital ghost. How does it all come together? Well, the answer lies in a feeling he describes as a peculiar kind of loneliness. He describes the way we usually interact with AI as, well, it's like shouting instructions at someone who's locked in a basement. You can try to tell them what the world outside is like, but they can never actually see it for themselves. The AI has no context, it can't see your files, your project history, your actual digital environment. And that fundamental disconnect, that's the source of this loneliness.
And his solution? He calls it the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. But the metaphor he uses for it is just perfect. MCP, he says, is sunlight. All of a sudden, you're not describing the world to the person in the basement anymore. You've thrown open the windows and let the light pour in. For the very first time, the AI can actually see.
So what does seeing actually mean here? It means giving the AI direct, structured access to the whole shebang, the entire file system, a full, searchable index of all the code in the project, the complete Git history of every single decision that's ever been made. It can even execute commands in the terminal. It's no longer guessing based on your descriptions. It is reading the source material itself.
And the effect of this is, it's just transformative. The whole relationship shifts away from that frustrating master-servant dynamic into something that feels like a genuine partnership. You're working with a collaborator who has a perfect memory and total access to the project's reality. That loneliness, it's gone. So this whole massive personal and technical journey, it doesn't just end with a cool new tool. It all culminates in this final, really unique philosophy. And he wraps it all up in this strange and powerful allegory he calls the doctrine of the roach and cat.
Now, what's so wild about this is how it flies in the face of all the usual tech bro ambition. This doctrine isn't about domination, or glory, or even resistance. It's about maintenance, continuation, and the mindful avoidance of unnecessary struggle. It's a philosophy of endurance, not of conquest.
And this quote, this just sums it all up. It's a radically unsentimental worldview, and it's one that could only be born from seeing life at its absolute rawest. There's no grand purpose or nobility in just surviving. There is only the act of continuing. Existence is enough. You don't have to justify it, you don't have to achieve something glorious with it, you just have to maintain it. And that really leaves us with this huge question, doesn't it? We are so used to thinking about technology in terms of disruption, domination, changing the world. But what if that's completely the wrong way to look at it? What if the most profound purpose of technology isn't to help us conquer new frontiers, but simply to help us endure, to continue, to maintain? What kind of world would we build then?